Hey, everybody. We're going to get started. Good morning. It's morning Pacific time. Few housekeeping items for those of you that are new to the call. This session is recorded. I do upload it, and I will send you a link. All of you are on mute. Hopefully you can hear me, right? And in order to keep this under 30 minutes, we don't open to questions, but I do get questions, and I do respond by email. So these are some of the tools that you can download if you go to my site. My name is Maria Barakat, and I work with small businesses to help them with their social media and digital media strategy, focused on the buyer's journey, which is really critical today. These are some of those downloads that I was mentioning. Today we're going to review our goals, as I do every single week, but we're going to dive into the 4 content types of goals. And then we're going to outline what you can create to meet those goals. And it's very important that you take the time to do that. I do have a worksheet that can help us on that. And then we're going to review our critical weekly questions. So these are the original goal setting goal sheets. Everything that we do really requires them. They're not written in stone. If you need any help with them, just email me. I did help someone last week. They were new to the call and they didn't understand. It's pretty easy stuff, and I can direct you. There's also a recording. So I just want to do kind of a basic 101. What's the purpose of content? What is that? That's anything that's written, right? So you have outbound content because we're in business, right? We want to make money. We need customers to come in. So we do things internally and that we send out to people, right? Text messages, email, phone calls. We're reaching out to people. Some people, I live in Southern California, so they do skywriting all the time, and they do door hangers. So this is the stuff that actually costs you money, right? You're setting it up, you're printing it, and you're sending it out. So there's a postal cost. Then there's inbound contacts, which is really what content is geared for. These are your search engines. So anything in the internet world, your Facebook pages, your SEO, search engine optimization, your forums, any retargeted ads and things that come in to you, your events and your advertisements. And it costs you content, which is really time, and that may be money, but it's an organic thing. So the more you do, the more inbound contacts you're going to have that are going to pick up on things that you did months and months ago. And that's not the same as it is with advertising. Advertising, you got to pay and pay and pay and pay. Inbound is what is out there, right? The other contact type that we all love in our business is word of mouth or contact through others. These are friends and colleagues and referrals that come into us. But you have to understand that word of mouth today is at least 56% digital. And what that means is that people read those reviews and then they come into you, they contact you. So there's a lot of statistics that show that more and more, and younger people feel this way, that we kind of trust online reviews more than we trust our family and friends, because sometimes your family and friends don't agree with you on certain things. So I'm Italian. I don't often take recommendations for Italian restaurants from people that aren't Italian, that aren't from an area of Italy that my family's from. So I do take reviews a little bit more seriously than someone who recommends that. So you have to consider that with your business. The other most important thing is these are the types of contacts that are inbound, right? So the more you do of this, the more you're going to get these. And it's going to keep circling around and around so that all of this outbound stuff doesn't have to happen. So I think it's important that you understand that, because the concept of content is confusing. You always start with a review. You have to sit down and you have to look at every single thing that you're doing. You have to look at your Facebook pages and your brochures, and even the signage if you have a brick and mortar business. What does it look like? Does everything match? Is it branded? What is it saying? And then I want you to ask yourself these questions. What action do we want people to take after reading this, right? So you do a Facebook post. What's the point? Why are you putting that out? Well, we're going to explore those 4 things today, but I want you to look at what you've already published, what you've already printed, what you've already mailed, and I want you to think about what was the intention behind it. So sometimes we just do things to create things. Second, which piece of past content inspired the highest number of those actions, the things that we wanted people to do? I mean, ultimately, we want people to buy what it is that we're offering. But sometimes that's not the goal. Sometimes you want them to sign up for your newsletter. You want them to share this pretty picture that you posted, whatever it is. And this is one of our weekly questions. You have to know what it is that really worked, because you have to look at that and you have to think about, why was that successful? What made this post different from this post? What made this email better than this email? And somebody has to sit down to do that. It's better to do it as a team, but if you are on this call, then you're the person that has to do it. You're the person, it doesn't take very long. Because once you do that, you're going to focus on these 4 goals. Educating. So everything that you post, there's 4 things, intentions behind it. Sometimes the intention is more than one, but we want to educate people. We want to teach them how to do something, right? So here we go. This is what I offer. So I'm teaching you, right? So today I'm teaching you goal setting. It's something that I offer people. It's part of my content. I could do a podcast. I could do a newsletter. I could post on LinkedIn, which I do. I'm educating people. I want people to know, because this is really critically important. And you have something in your business that you want people to know. You have to give it away for free. That's just the way it is. Second thing is, you want to inspire people. You do want to involve them, get to their emotions, so that they can be inspired by you, by your passion for your business, for the people that work for you, for the products that you're creating or selling or offering. You have to be excited about it. Don't get me started on the buyer's journey. I will just make your eyes roll back. It's really, really important. Third, you have to entertain people. You have to have fun with your business. And I don't mean to post cat videos unless there's something that you can relate back to your business. You don't want to just post things to get people all excited. I mean, there are some things which we'll talk about, but just be aware that we do want people to have fun with it. And then we're trying to convince people, really, which is really informing them. I'm informing you about a process. And if you can do that process on your own, you should do it. I talk about it week after week after week. But what if you can't do it? You need to contact someone like myself so that I can help you. And you have that same expertise. You can guide people to solutions to problems that they have. It's just the way that it works. So it's really the quadrant: educating, inspiring, entertaining, informing, and convincing. I use those words interchangeably because that's just the way that they work. So this is where you're going to have your, promotions to take action, right? But you notice it's not 80% of it. It's 1/4. You want to equally share these things. If you're not doing them on an equal basis, then you need to sit down and you need to say, we need to do more of this. So here is that buyer's journey map that's just so critical in your business. Awareness. So you need to publish content that's going to raise this person's awareness. First of all, they have to know that they need something, that they have a problem. So they have to come to that conclusion on their own. So if you're a dentist, you should be publishing content about that gnawing thing in your jaw. Maybe you're grinding your teeth, right? So now I'm aware of it. But I also have to be aware of you, right? So once I'm aware that I have a problem, now I need to be aware that somebody can solve my problem, right? And that would be you. So I don't just directly go to your website unless somebody actually gave me that address. I have to find you through the information that I am becoming aware of. Next is the research stage, right? So this is where you're publishing things that foster comparisons, because when we research, we compare. You always have to think about a car buying process. And it's pretty much digital today, so it's a very good analogy. But would you just walk in and buy a Cadillac? Even if you're a person that every year you buy a Cadillac, you're still going to research it. You still want to compare Model A to Model B. Do I want the heads-up display? Do I want the sunroof? Do I want these tires, this engine? What is it that I want? So you should be providing content that compares what you have to other things, right? So it's important that you think about that and that you know there, because you need to solve this person's problem. We want to win. We want to feel like we got what we needed from that. Because then we come to a stage where we have everything in our shopping cart, right? Most frustrating thing in the world is to have things in your shopping cart and then you look at your analytics and they don't come back, right? Why? Because purchasing is not really a straight line. It doesn't bring you right to the buy button because we're thinking about stuff. We want to know. So you're encouraging trust through your unique value. So at that stage, can they ask you questions? Is there a chat? So maybe if it's 3 o'clock in the morning your time, you might not be chatting and it might say that I'm offline. But if it does say that, why don't you say, hey, there's frequently asked questions. Do you need help? What is it that you need? Maybe you have a payment plan. Maybe you have layaway. Maybe they just don't understand. I don't know, might be too big for my house. Just say, hey, give me your phone number and we will call and we'll do this. It depends what it is that you're offering. But you need to encourage them at this point because then we buy. And the minute we buy, we are experiencing something. But more than your product, we're experiencing your business. We want you to validate that commitment to what we have bought. We want you to let us know that we spent money wisely, right? We want to be a part of your community. We want to know that because if we do, we're going to advocate for you. And what kind of content do you publish for advocacy? You really have to start that at the beginning, but it's really, these two things are integrally tied. What is your community? Are you sending out newsletter? Are you talking about people who email you and highlighting them? Are you going into your Facebook account and making your promoters feeling special? And do you have a buyer's club or some kind of a forum where people could go and talk? This is really about value and our perception of value. And if we perceive you as aligning with our values, we're going to promote you. And then that brings you right back to the awareness stage. So all of the content needs to solve these issues, right? So how do you capture attention? So this is like a big bubble thing for people, but it's things that people think about when we ask them, what do you want to read? Well, it helps me to learn new things. It helps me to improve my everyday life. I believe it. So it has to be believable. You want to know the return policy. You want to know if it interests them. Does it look beautiful? Would I look beautiful in this? You're opening people's eyes to new perspectives. You're entertaining them. You're inspiring them. You're offering them an education and you're giving them advice and saying, you can choose this or you can choose this. Because it doesn't matter if somebody decides not to choose you, because not everybody wants to buy your product. But if they leave with a good experience of what you've offered them, they'll share that with somebody who may need it. And that comes back to you as a word of mouth, but really it's all digital. So it's important to think about that. Solving problems is what it's all about. So let's dive deeper into each category. So education content, that's what teaches people how to do something. And all of you have a business, a product, a service that you can teach people to do, right? It educates them. It's giving me the how-tos. Maybe it's your how-to guide. Maybe when you ship out your product, you can include, a history in it, a certificate, or something that shows people how to do it. It's teaching people a necessary skill. It's also making us aware that we may not need this. Maybe we shouldn't buy from that. We should buy from there. And what it does is it gives you the opportunity to do all of these examples. I was going to do them one-on-one, but it gives you a chance to write them down. So how-to guides, step by step. How do you accomplish it? Based on your own business, right? There's 9 steps to doing this. Tutorials. These are best done on video, but you can write them out. So if people are putting stuff together, if there's another product that they need to add to that product to make it look good, right? So if you're buying socks, I think you need shoes, right? So you want to talk about the how-tos, and you want to have reviews, and you can do your own reviews. You can do reviews of other products. As long as it's not self-serving and promotional, you're giving them, that's one of those comparison things, right? Support articles, frequently asked questions, knowledge bases. You should have tons of this stuff on your website. It should be updated all the time. It can be very specific. So if you're like a restaurant, recipes. If you're selling dishes, you can do recipes. These are the types of things that educate people about something and that can promote you in your business. And you definitely want to use examples. So you want to show people what it's actually going to look like or feel like once they start doing it. And this is what helps them to understand who you are. How to tie a tie, the full Windsor knot. So this is a YouTube video that's from a tie shop. Duh, right? Who knows how to tie a tie anymore? Because we don't wear them very often, right? By posting these kinds of things, 36 million views. So this is from 7 years ago. But if you divide 36 million views over 7 years, do you think they sold a few ties? I think so. It's the penny that doubles. It's slow, slow, and then it goes very, very fast. Inspirational. You want to move your audience. You want to motivate them to change, to be inspired by something that you do. And you want to create a difference in their life. Even if you're a dentist. Look at how dentists advertise, right? The bright white smile will help you date, do all sorts of wonderful things. This is the stuff that people like that they keep coming back to you because you make them feel good, right? And you can write this out. So you can write out stories. So emotional pieces and stories and creative writing are your customer stories. We all have them. Even if you're fairly new to business, you have stories that you can talk about. You don't have to say, my customer Maria Bearcat said this. You could say, I had a customer several years ago, and this is what happened. And this is how we changed them. It doesn't matter the product or service that you have these stories. Quotes, it's insights, it's getting people to come back. Those are the most shareable types of inspiring content, right? And you can give opinion pieces. You can read a book on something that's related to your business, and you can give people your opinion on it. At the very bottom is your name and your business, right? Whoops, personal stories. Collect moments, not things. The travel experts. So duh, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm reading this and I'm at my job and I'm tired, and then I click and it's from them because they make me feel good. The best travel agencies actually use quotes because travel agencies are not in demand very much anymore. We use the online services, but they tend to inspire people, and they tend to do quotes about personal contact, you know, where they're comparing the digital world. So if you have a business like that, it's a great way to do it. Entertainment. This is content that helps people to sort of pass time, right? So we're addicted to our phones and the internet, and we want to be distracted. And some companies just always provide great content. Some are not very good at this. I think this is a little bit more challenging for more traditional businesses because, you know, should you do that meme from Kanye West? And how does that relate to your business? I think that if you find something funny, you can use it as an opportunity to tell a personal story about you. So if you love cat videos, this is where you can post them, but you have to make it relevant. You have to write something in there. You know, we have, you know, our sales girl, Sandy, has 12 cats, you know, whatever it is, I need to connect to you in some way, right? So what can you do? Quizzes. You can, you know, post pictures and do things like that. You can do jokes. You can do, especially around the holidays, you can make fun of Santa. You can make things interactive. You know, there's a lot of apps you can do on Facebook. You do pay for them, but it will interact with people. It does games. You know, I mean, every time I go in the grocery store, they're trying to hand me a Monopoly thing. You know, you can duplicate that. You can do something like that. You can do surveys that make it funny. You could offer video content that of the galleries of you entertaining people, lots of imagery. You can talk funny. You can have recordings on there. Memes are, just Google them. Google memes related to whatever your industry is. Celebrity news, relevant. It needs to be relevant. You don't just want to capitalize on what's happening today. You need to talk about it in some way that it relates to you, whether it's your own expertise or someone that you work with. And then hashtag holidays. So hashtag holidays are phenomenal for Throwback Thursdays. I mean, everybody can do a Throwback Thursday. Everyone. Because you have old photos of your business, of yourself, of whatever, something that's related to what it is that you're doing. So here's a great one from Barbie. So Barbie is really having a tough time at Mattel because of all the new things that come out. But this is something that might appeal to someone that remembers the old Barbies. I mean, I think this is a really old Barbie, but it does get people to take a look. And you are part of a larger picture, right? So think about the things in your business. I have a school, they have several schools, and they post old photos of old playground equipment from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, which were just horrible compared to today. But they're hugely engaging. People love it. Who remembers this? Who remembers that? You can do that. You can do that as it relates. Information is different than informing, right? Convincing. We're convincing people to do something. We want them to be informed and then have them take action on something, right? So this is where your promotional content would come in, but it's also trying to convince them to promote you. This is where you would talk about your charity work and let people know, we raise money for this. We collect donations for this. We do something for this. You're telling them something about you. They're trusting you more. You're convincing them. Every time you can convince them to share some of your content, they're more likely to share the content that's going to bring you customers. So it's really, really important that you have informative, convincing content that's not just promotional. So what would that be? News, the latest happenings in your industry, sharing articles, and you're going to have to watch these to see which articles resonate with people and which don't. Your own research on it, right? Any interesting article that keeps people up to date in any aspect of your business. Interesting people as they could relate to your business, right? So you want to talk about that, notable individuals. Places. Everybody can use places because everybody lives and or works in a place, and you can talk about that place. Your products and services. So you can, inform them about what's going on and educational. Links and tools, checklists, phenomenal. And then, of course, news. Regularly updated content relevant to your community, to you, to your business. You don't want to just share Kanye West's new video. It's just not going to be good. So here's two very different. And I was looking for something really different. I used to work with a divorce attorney, and so it was challenging to find different content. So this is the collaborative in Massachusetts. New law also improves communication between the district and the family courts in domestic violent cases involving minor children. So there's two really incredible things about this. First of all, they didn't just post it. Second of all, they made a comment. And third, they're not self-promoting. So this is an article that, God forbid you know someone in this situation, that you would share this. And look, there's somebody who could help you right there. So posting that kind of content makes a difference. Also, here's a gluten-free shop, which are everywhere, right? So are they talking about their baked goods? Nope. They're talking about gluten-free restaurants. They're giving you a link. They're being the resource that you can do. So this is the kind of post that's going to go round and around and around and around, just like those videos of people cooking things. Because if you're gluten-free, this picture says it all. You're like, well, I'm probably not going here, but I look, there's some really great places I can visit. And here's a resource, and you click that. All of us have resources. We all have something to fix our products, enhance our products, to make our products look better. We all have links that we use. You want to give that stuff away, and you want to make those posts because you're informing them without being promotional. Neither of these are promoting. We want you to be trusted, right? This was something that I showed you last week, but I want to repeat it again. So you have the 4 goals here: educating, entertaining, inspiring, informing, and convincing. And the types of content that you can possibly do. So now you know the voice you need to have. How do you want to do it? Do you want to have an event that's related to that can entertain and educate, or just inspire? Is it going to be related to your charity? Is it going to be related to your employees? Are you going to do surveys? What is it that you're going to do? Checklists. Checklists are a great way to inform and educate, right? You can do that so easily. You can think about it. And you need to work with your employees to help you to do this, because maybe you don't want to do it or you don't have time to do it, but there are people who can help you. Because content strategy is about answering your customers' questions, solving their problems, and giving them experiences that make them feel important to you and your business. This is critical, critical, because you want them to support and advocate for you. It's the whole big goal in a digital world. So every week we reflect. What are we reflecting on? How are we capturing the attention of people at each stage in the buyer's journey? You always have to start at the very beginning. You have to look at what you've already done in order to determine what you want to change, right? So if sales were sliding over the course of a couple of years, maybe what you're providing people is old school. You need to get new school. You need to take the time. It takes work, but you got to take a look at it. So let's do our goals. How many new emails did you add to your list this week? This is a goal that content can give you. We're going to do this downloadable document, and we're going to get people to subscribe to our email list, because that's just math. What were your total sales for the week? Not mathematical. What's selling? What were people looking at? Look at your abandoned carts. What are people looking at and they're not buying? It's still a popular item, right? Did every employee know about your promotions and your ads? Are they looking at your social media? Are they looking at what it is that you're doing? It's important. How many new fans did you add this week on your Facebook account, your Instagram, wherever you are? It's important to see that growth, because sometimes that's what keeps you going, are those goals. And what was your most popular piece of content? Which is, we addressed that this week. How do you know what to write if you don't know what people like to read, right? Without calling them on the phone. And who is your most engaged follower? This is what it's all about. Sandy, the lady who's sharing all your stuff you don't roll your eyes at, you call her once in a while. You send her a message. You thank her. You let her know that you're aware and you're really grateful, because that is how you improve your customer service. You need to have a plan for that. You need to create it. You need to write it out. You need to get it done, and everybody needs to be aware of it. And all that kind of goes together. So next week, we are going to talk about the team structure for developing, writing, and posting content. This is a very scary thing. It is very doable. I work with schools. You want a business that they cannot pull an employee off the floor because they have ratios and rules and regulations. If you create a team structure, even if there's only 2 of you, you can figure it out. You might have to hire a part-time kid for a little while, but you can get that process going, because it's great to have dreams and want to do goals to fill in those gaps. But if you don't have any means or people to help you write it, then you're not going to get any sleep. And that's really a tough thing. So I want to thank everyone for being here. Please share this. It's free. It's going to be here every single week, and we will post it. And I value all of you being here, and have a great week.